Stuart, tell me about the history of the lab coat.
Well, the first lab coat didn't exist. Middle school, you weren't allowed to use a lab coat. Teacher sat in front of everybody, the 12-year-olds are just sitting there. They would do all the experiments. You weren't allowed to touch a lab coat. You weren't allowed to touch the chemicals. Now, sophomore year chemistry, everybody was assigned a lab coat. So you took a piece of athletic tape, white, wrote your name on the tape, and put the tape above the pocket. So that was your lab coat for the entire year. And then, at the end of the year, you pulled the tape off, returned the lab coat for the next sophomore in chemistry class. Then when you get to college, well, you have to buy your own lab coat, and that's expensive, and you only want to do it once, so you took a Sharpie and you wrote your name above the pocket so that it was yours and nobody would steal it. Then when you get to professional level, well, now you're going to have it embroidered over your name over the pocket. And now you have my lab coat, and it has no name because when I walk into the lab, first of all, everybody knows my name. Second of all, they're like, why are you here? What are you doing? Allow us to do it and get out.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
You have a formulation chemist helping with your car wash formulation chemistry. When it comes to car wash chemicals, you want to be assured you are getting the right chemical to serve the right purpose. And a formulation chemist knows exactly what chemicals you need and how it'll help you clean cars. I'm Kyle Alexander, and in the Wash Lab today, I've got an expert to help explain how crucial it is to have a formulation chemist help with your car wash formulation chemistry. Stuart, welcome back to the Wash Lab again. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure as always.
Third time. It's got to be the luckiest time, right? You know?
Absolutely.
Third time's the charm, you know, as we say. But every episode's been good. We've had a lot of fun hanging out in the Wash Lab with Stuart. Today, we're talking about formulation chemistry. Stuart, tell me a little bit about formulation chemistry and formulation chemists. What's the deal with all of this?
Well, I like to compare formulation chemistry with cooking versus baking. So you can have a chemist, which is basically a cook. And then you can have a formulation chemist, which is basically a baker, because one is art and another one is science. So when you make chocolate chip cookies, if you forget an ingredient, the cookie's not going to turn out right. If you go to make buttermilk waffles and you don't have any buttermilk, there are alternatives. Formulation chemist is going to know that. They're going to say, okay, I can take milk and lemon juice. I can take white vinegar and milk, mix those together. But you have to let them sit for 5 to 10 minutes before you can incorporate them.
Right.
So it's a substitute, but it's a change.
Sure. It's not functioning the same way as the original ingredient.
Correct. Now, from a functionality standpoint, the pH is probably fine, but from a texture standpoint, it's probably different. So you could use something like sour cream, or you could use yogurt, which texture-wise are going to be, similar to buttermilk, but it's still not going to be buttermilk. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be close. Now, a formulation chemist has probably tried all of those options.
So they already know what to do.
So if you have a supply interruption and you can't get a single raw material, you already know that there's alternatives that you can use. The difference being, what's the lead time? What's the cost? But you've already tested them. So if you have, let's say you have 9 ingredients in a formulation. How many different outcomes do you have? And one of those is water.
Well, I'll be the first to say numbers aren't my strong suit, but I'll take a stab. Let's say like 80.
There you go, 81.
Okay.
Because you have a 9x9 matrix, so you have 81 different combinations.
Got it.
But since one of those is water, now you've got 6 variables of water. You can have tap water that's hot, you can have tap water that's cold, you can have deionized water that's hot, you can have deionized water that's cold, and you can have distilled water that's hot, and you can have distilled water that's cold. Now, there are certain formulations where you need those different types of water, and you have to figure those out. So if you have an exothermic reaction, which is when heat is generated you're going to want to start with cold water, most likely.
Sure.
If you have an endothermic reaction where cold is actually generated, you're going to want to start with hot water, most likely, because at some point the water will get so cold that the solubility point will be reached and then it will kick the products out. So those are all variables you have to play with.
It's a lot to kind of keep track of in your head, I'm assuming, as a chemist, right? There's so much going on that you have to account for.
Well, they say that formulation chemists are mentored. You don't learn it in school. So I had, as luck would have it, had Jack Shore, who was basically my mentor. I just didn't realize that he was my mentor until much later in life. But,
all right.
But my job description when I showed up was everything that he knows you learn. Well, that's called a mentor.
Absolutely.
And what companies are doing nowadays is they're using AI as the mentor. So they're taking all their research and development and they're incorporating it into the computer system. And then AI is generating these possible outcomes. So it's basically a shortcut for new chemists.
Sure.
The downside is once you leave that company, because it's all proprietary information, you don't take that knowledge with you. So you're not going to learn the reason for the shortcut. You're just going to know that the shortcut exists.
Gotcha. Let's transition to what's on the table here, just to kind of show us maybe how formulation chemistry works. Take it away.
When order of addition is very, very important. So when you have your 9x9 matrix and you have 3 powders in that solution, odds are, and you're going to figure this out pretty quickly, that you're going to put the powders into water first. Because if you put everything else in, put the powders in last, it's probably not going to work. So if we have A, I won't bore you with everything that's A. And we have B. And you have C. And mix them. A, B, C, sometimes is not as easy as 1, 2.
That's quite a bit cloudier in comparison. So this obviously just kind of goes to show that someone who is a formulation chemist is going to get you what you need, know exactly what you need without having to use any alternatives, right?
Correct.
There's no shortcuts. It's straight to the final product that you want.
And you can see there is a substantial difference.
Mm-hmm.
And with a little bit of patience and the right mixing, everything becomes clear.
And that's, again, just by doing these 3 different chemicals in a different order, which I think is super cool. So what is the takeaway maybe for car wash operators and formulation chemistry and formulation chemists?
Well, like I said, you have to have a lot of patience in the lab. I only have 2 places where I have patience. One is the kitchen, the other one is the lab. And you have to try all the different variables because that's the only way that you learn.
Awesome. Well, Stuart, thanks for joining me again in the wash lab today.
You're welcome.
Once again, thanks to Stuart Hammerschmidt for coming back into the wash lab today. A couple takeaways for car wash operators. Formulation chemists have strong credibility. Like Stuart mentioned, formulation chemists are mentored, not taught. They get their knowledge from the smartest people in the field who have put the work in and experimented with everything. That's super important in formulation chemistry. Since everything has been tested, formulation chemists know the exact chemicals someone needs without needing a shortcut. For car wash operators, formulation chemistry and formulation chemists help you be assured that you are getting the exact right chemicals you need from the best experts to keep cars shining. I've been Kyle Alexander, and this has been the Wash Lab. Thanks for watching.